on day one being able to accrue an awful lot of points, a lot of exciting stuff, but it'll all finish here. So let's see just how much energy is left for our teams.
We need more energy, more passion from Goopy Geen here as we head into our final match of the day, Jackie. I'm ready for it. We're going to see if we get any different circles here. Are we heading down towards that south side again? Is Loops going to get fortunate with their circle? And you know what? If they're fortunate with their circle, that's the type of team that's going to take it all the way. They'll pick up the chicken dinner off the back of that because they always want to translate these decent circles into good points that are going to send them further and further up the rankings. Is Stalwart going to pop up back out of nowhere? Because they've been pretty quiet today, Jackie. Just a lot of these fairly decent placings, but it's not been these powerful performances that we saw from yesterday. They still have put up around about 50 points in a day, but 132 points to the 125 from Loops, who currently are on fire. I personally think there's going to be a new first place at the end of this.
And you're telling me they're doing this whilst they're on fire?
That's right, bro.
That's mad. Someone's
no
really
extinguisher involved.
No, yeah, like get out the fire extinguisher. Imagine if they were like just lukewarm. It would be insane.
Right, stop, drop, and roll with the phone in tow. That's what we like to see.
Oh,
obviously,
they could do it, mate. With a grip I've seen. They
from the chief. Yeah, exactly. Circle though, down towards the southwest side. We've got to talk about that a little bit because that is very unusual. This doesn't really support anyone in particular. Loops and Hacienda del Patron certainly have a long way to go. BRA and Picardo, they have a very smooth route outwards, right? That's the main thing for them. Getting out from this arena, getting out from this area is really decent for them. I8 can smoothly rotate from Los Leones. And I think if the Mad Bulls the first time in quite a while, they'll be pretty happy with this drop, right? No one's dropped on top of them. They've got Impala to themselves. It's not awkward. And a South Road rotate would be ideal.
Yeah, probably one of the few times that are actually thinking they can make something out of this in terms of the early game and feel a little bit more confident. We need to see that confidence really coming back in droves for Gladiators. They got their invitation to be here, and with that, you have to live up to the hype. You've got to come in and really bring the ruckus, Blank. You know, show these other teams that they've got to protect their necks, because otherwise, Gladiators, what are they doing here? We need to see them really showing that on the server. And with the tournament getting closer and closer towards the halfway mark for their group, the opportunity to do so gets lesser and lesser. So if there isn't a big finale today for them, they've got to come out absolutely swinging for the first game of day 3. Zia, though, looking a little bit better. It's been very hit and miss for them. It's felt like they've been basically uncomfortable throughout an awful lot of the games. Into the one just gone, they seemed a lot more comfortable. Miramar potentially giving them a bit of a buff. Tiamba as well. They've been hot and cold, somewhat like a Katy Perry song, Blank.
Yeah, dude, it's not been ideal for the boys from Tiamba. Lee just not really finding his footing so far. Currently cosplaying as a dwarf, though. He looks very low down to the ground. Slightly unfortunate, but I'm sure he'll stand back up soon. But for Tiamba, I just don't think that they're finding their inner pace on these maps, right? Because they like to take these long, wide, slow, calm rotates, get into the circle, set themselves up for success in that end game. And they sort of do have this similar playstyle through to a team like Loops that like to just slowly rotate in, find these areas of success. But I just don't think they've got that similar type of gun skill that we're seeing from Loops at the moment. They don't have that same clutch potential as this team. So a lot of those fights that are required to win, to find yourself a little opening on the edge to start sweeping and pushing in, is just not available for a team like Tiamba. And right now, it does sort of feel like QZZ is solo carrying that squad. And it's a little bit heavy for him. I'd like to see teams, players like YDD, who we know is really good as a player, step up a bit more from that team, from PEL. Like, it just doesn't make too much sense for me. But again, Tiamba, we'll see if they can make their way into that 11th place and upwards to get into all that survival stage. Right now on the edge at 39 points with Mad Bulls ahead of them with 51 points total.
So always doable, always achievable. You've just got to be the one that find the point yourself. Never leave it up to other teams to decide your fate when it comes down to the survival stage. We'll see, though, as we get closer to hypothesizing about that over the next couple days. For now, we'll stick to the present with the roads we know. And all roads are leading down towards the zone. Everyone trying to get themselves center stage as quick as possible and not have to worry about coming in late and dealing with a potential deficit that comes alongside that. The teams you're going to have to fight your way through. Close grouping, though, in terms of the rotates up towards power grid, where it could get a little bit uncomfortable if teams start to loot and lurk, as you would have loops and then stalwart right on top of each other, with gladiators coming down as well.
Yeah, that is a spicy combo up towards that northern side. I'm surprised these two teams haven't really clashed as of yet so far over towards this position at this point in time. I mean, Stalwart's kind of okay for a team to be up here with them, 125 points. I mean, first place would be lovely to hang on to, but it's so weird in the sense that both these teams, with Stalwart and Loops, have created probably what we will see as the most chaotic group out of most of them so far, barring something crazy happening over towards some of these other weeks ahead of us. But right now, 125, 132, with third place being 86 points of Alpha 7. It is just pure insanity, the amount of shifting and changing that can happen from 15th place even up towards getting into that survival stage. So really, really, really crazy stuff. Also, right now, I think third place is the only position so far that is sort of open for a lot of these teams underneath that position to get in towards a direct invite, because Loops and Stalwart don't seem to be stopping anytime soon.
Headstrong, feel like they can take on anyone at this point, so just sticking to their own guns rather than allowing anyone else to force them into a play they don't potentially want to make. There's a bit of a clash that you don't really want to be a part of if you can avoid it, though. Bra eSports versus Alpha 7. Two sides that are really starting to find themselves with good footing in the competition the longer it's gone on, especially for Bra after the adaptations we saw for them coming into today. Gladiators, though, clean path ahead of them. They've been able to breeze on through, looting themselves up, getting the boots on, pulling up the socks and feeling confident with how the rotation has gone, getting themselves into zone nice and early. Oh, Kitsune, he's rolled it. Nice.
He's back on. He's back on foot. We're all good to go. I think for Gladiators as an overall, it's just these slow rotates which are causing some big issues for them so far. We need them to be a bit quicker, and I think it's sort of a symptom of where they play on the map. But even so, you look at a team like Alter Ego, who are already making their way down, Loops, Stalwart. These are all difficult areas to play, and I think if you want to play on this edge side, you seriously have to have the manpower, the gunpowder behind you to back it up versus some of these teams in the lobby, right? You have to find a way to get in. And a lot of that times means like a team wipe or squad wipe, taking out a couple of players, forcing them out of the way. With this circle, though, now it means getting into vehicles and pumping the pedal as hard as you can. That engine needs to get purring and quickly, because you need to send it very, very fast to Minas del Sur.
Oh, mate, this is rough. Awful lot of water taking up the playable space. Limited choke points for rotations. You got to be fast. You got to be furious. And you got to hope that you can find yourself a piece of the island to lay claim to. Tiamba instantly bounding into the ocean and getting their swim on. Breaststrokes coming out as they want to make their move over to the other side of the water. Or DX inside of the compound getting clashed upon as Gladiators are going in, waving the gunnies around, blowing the doors off. They shut down Chow. Meanwhile, you can see Rejects instantly letting it rip, putting the pedal down as they just want to cross the bridge, but it might be a bridge too far. Puncher hits onto one and knocks him out. Sarah as well. Sarah, biceps blank. His biceps have been deflated off the back of that shot.
And Falcon's just going to move in off the back of that, looking to take some more names off them. Puncher moves up front side. They could barely peek out. Some incredible shots coming through. More nades off the side. And in comes the rest of the Gladiators, I think. No, it's DX on the front side. moving and taking out the remaining members of Reject. Now looking to take out the rest of Falcons as well to push further in towards this island. It's a horrible position to play as well. Round Minas del Sur is just these mountainous regions that you really can't get towards the top side of. So even cuts out more of the playing field going forward. It is a grim place to finish, and the way that it's centered so hard down towards the southwest, probably as hard as it possibly could, you're likely to end up in Minas del Sur and the warehouses around that area, which make for a very, very fun ending format.
Yeah, this is certainly one way to set the plate for the last game of the day here. It's not going to be anything common. It's going to be very abstract indeed. So we'll see how it goes. Tops, even armored a Mini 14, just battering bullets over towards the bridge and being able to buckle DX. Levi's needs to be revived. Lamborghini goes into play medic. The rest of the squad looking to patch themselves up as well. It's polite of Falcons to share the bridge with DX here, as everyone is just turning their attention towards Gladiators in the distance. Of course, Nerzed's getting stuck into the action. Finds another pickup. And talking of action, there he is. Comes in with a shot onto Tixi, as we will be able to punish from the lower ground. I see as well. Oh, mate. This is looking good for Stalwart once again, with their backs turned towards the blue, just being able to scrap their way through Gladiators. But you've got to get over the bridge. You've got limited options here to get back in towards center zone following this fight.
Yeah, I mean, for Gladiators, it's all going wrong once again. They're desperately trying to bring things back as Matic takes down action, able to give them a little bit of breathing room. But already, you can see they're just down to 2 players. Tiamba coming against Malise eSports on the similar rotates we see time and time again, looking fairly more confident about it. I think now it's just 1 player from Gladiators that remains. It's just Kitsune. All on his lonesome, has to send away. And I'm just curious about this play where they send over towards this western side. You can see the reasoning behind it. Try and get some angles over towards DX and Falcons. But I don't think they could have assumed that Stalwart would be coming in so fast. And the speed at which Tixi got picked up again after he'd been res just set an awkward set of scenarios in motion that I just don't think Gladiators were coming back from.
Just all went far too worse for wear too quickly. Made it an awful lot harder for them to really be able to reset from it. Finally confirmed now as they go down for good. Gladiators out again as they're removed from the equation in this one. Rest of the teams panicking to try and get their rotations on the go. Tiamba setting up and waiting for the close quarters combat, basically just edge guarding here towards the bridge. Knows that map balls are still lurking inside of the blue, and if they come swimming through, it's just about connecting the shots. Free fire punishment not quite landing. I8 as well, stuck into a fight versus Tiamba. The spray control's looking crazy. What? It's actually a Mini 14. Man's just massacred them with a Mini 14 blank, making it look like it's an M16.
Blaze just pulled out the katana, lopped off all their heads. What was that? That was insanity that we just saw from Blade. Oh my god, I mean, Aegon I can at least be pleased with what just happened there. And QZZ once again left on his lonesome, dealing with several players at once, and 3 of his teammates can't deal with 1 guy. Blade just makes a mockery out of him. I feel so bad for QZZ because he has honestly played really well today. It's just depressing. For Alpha 7, I think they set themselves up in a really good spot. I like this high ground position they've got. This is over towards the western side of Minas del Sur, right? It sits on the top side. It's a pretty awkward building because it doesn't have the most amount of windows in the world, but it does give you just a position that has such good overlook that it's hard to breach. That's what makes it so strong. You can see it here on the map. We're waiting for stage 4 to hit. If it sends up towards that northeast side, game could get real ugly real fast, but if it heads down towards the southwest, there's only so many teams here that can take precedent in this match. This is one of the cruelest circles we have seen during the PMGC League stage, and none of these teams are enjoying it.
Doesn't get any easier, does it? Just forcing issue after issue. Everyone constantly plunged into battling here, contending with a rough rotate The blue eating away at you, and bullets constantly being barraged down from all sides. DX suffering on a rotate. They cannot quite make it across as one by one they start to fall. Icy as well taking shots from the Falcons as they come in to pick up their 5th elimination, finding some damage onto Stalwart and softening them up going into the later stages of the game. Meanwhile, Evos, they're going to be crashed. Compound Control clashed 4 as Alter Ego pull up to the party, but they might get Ego checked on this one. Rosemary back down in the ground as he's going to be slain. Misery living up to his name as he inflicts pain onto all of them. The nades come out as they clean up. They can reset from the fight, and Evos will be content with this one. eSports straight into submersible mode as they want to get in the water and stay out of trouble.
The Indonesians go head-to-head there, and it's Pazija, Evos that come out on top. It's a nice little fight. They do lose one player in the process, and Bra, like you say, just sending direct into the water. And you can kind of make sense why these players all sent up towards this northern side, because it's so hard to get down towards that southern edge at that point. Everyone's just given up. They're like, right, let's just try and live out our days as long as possible on this northern edge here. Falcons take shots. Zia desperately trying to make an opening for themselves. Megamind just running around, sidestepping bullets, falls down at the end of it. Whilst he opens up an opportunity potentially for teams on that eastern side to maybe, just maybe, get in.
Poser from quite far away over the other side of the gulch, inflicting damage as he's able to punish onto Loops. This is Loops that, bear in mind, we were hypothesizing the idea of them being able to do the leapfrog, get over the top of Stalwart. If that is going to be the case, it needs to be tighter now more than ever. Down to 2 players with only 3 eliminations secured over the course of this one. Puncher throwing fists into the river, but not quite connecting onto the players. Finally starting to adjust and deal some damage as he's got to take down a fish in a barrel that are Bra eSports. 1 by 1s, Falcons put the bullets in and start to secure those pickups onto the weakened players. Here's the rotate from Stalwart though, just playing inside of the zone already. Meanwhile, Frozen here, lurking on the wayside. Seems like he's got a nice read on the position here from QZ and knows what exactly the man from Tiamba's up to. Zerich is still here as well, but this is such a fragmented Mad Balls in terms of the split. 3 players effectively rocking a solo maneuver, and the game plan for most of our squads here is just get yourself in that water and stay alive for as long as possible.
Exactly, just try and live this one out. You know that teams will be going down left, right, and center. The least you could do is pick up some placement points. Stalwart, again, although they haven't had a real flashy day with a huge amount of performances, this team does look like they're just encased in iron. They are so hard to put down, man, because they were over towards that northwest side and the glut of the conflict as well, yet still managed to find themselves in this position. You know, you blink twice, you miss this rotation, you miss how they made their way in towards this spot. It's really quite amazing, the speed and honestly just how stalwart actually is into these games. Frozen does finish off QZZ just as the blue starts to push in, so he has a really good read on where he's going to have to go, so that's nice for them. Precisa Evos over towards that northeast side actually do manage to make it across. No one's really looking at them as of yet, and Loops is dropping down, looking to deal with the Knights from Stalwart.
Bullets just constantly being barraged their way now. Misery trying his best to shut down Stalwart, knowing that if he can just finish a few of them off, he'll deny their longevity of gathering points into the last game of the day. Loop seems to have the same idea as well, as Chief is taking the action straight to them. Die Hard in the back there, John McClane. Man's just trying to stay alive for as long as possible. Mythic hit from the upside as Kishu will strike from the heavens. Has the follow-up utility to work with as well. Offensive nades and the smokes for defense. Zone starting to get tighter and tighter as well. So it's going to get more uncomfortable the longer this one goes on.
Yeah, the thing is, anyone's on this coastal side now with no opportunity of getting up towards that top side, you're just done, right? Because the circle's going to enclose, cut you all off from there. It's a miracle that Tops has been able to find an avenue in, but he's surrounded by assailants at this point in time. Chief has to hit a big hit on this nade up towards Pasija Evos to actually try and get himself out of this scenario. That's a lot of damage he just did. And I think that they thought twice about looking down towards him now.
You can see the decision making from everyone's very jumpy. Fine margins between teams being wiped and barely staying alive.
No!
Luxy with a self-detonation blank, couldn't get the nade out in time after taking a shot from the sideline. Forced to have his teammate play field medic here, as he'll be running over, seeing if he can keep him on his feet, but they're taking damage because of it. Might be a bit of a throw for him there. It looks like Evo's losing out because of the misplay, but barely, by the skin of his teeth, gets Luxy back up. Misery with the nade, trades it out over onto Chief. Hefty damage.
But the med kit's coming through as he's just trying to get some more of these bandages in. It was only a matter of time, though. Misery finally hits a decent one. That's a bit of an airburst, kicks him out. 4 eliminations, 4 apiece for Stalwart and Loop. So hand in hand towards that top side. We'll have to see if it's just gonna happen on another day where Stalwart loses that first place. Pasija Evos, despite everything, despite the hardships that they dealt with on that north side, do make it across even after being assailed by Alter Ego on that crash. We're heading in towards, I think this is stage 5 now. And A7, mate, they've done nothing. They've done nothing this game. They've had the chillest of times up towards the top side in this compound. The circle centers up on them. This is one of the freest matches you'll see.
Can they finish it, though? That's the big question. Are they going to be able to secure this happily? Or is there potential for upsets? A lot of solos, couple duos, and very limited numbers when it comes to the full squads alive and kicking. Falcons have all 4 players alive at the minute with their wings spread. You've got 2 duos, 2 solos, and a single triple threat in A7. So they're down numbers very slightly versus Falcons. The only squad to overpower them is Evos that take the brunt of the damage early, though. A7 take the peak out as they find Fleek and inflict some damage onto him. You've got good control to work with as well. This compound really could be worth its weight in gold for A7 as long as they're able to hit their mark. You don't eat grenades and just find yourself falling to pieces. DX up to their old tricks. If there is a shed somewhere, they will find it.
Mate, 100%. It's the low shack once again. What are you going to do about it? Frozen trying to spot if there's players in here. And I think at this point in time, you can be pretty certain that there absolutely is. And it's going to be DX of all people. Like we say, these guys love the shed. They spend all their time in there. It's a happy place for them. But now we're just down to 5 teams at stage 6 in the match, Jackie. 11 players. This circle has been the Grim Reaper for so many teams within this match of Miramar. But Falcons, though, you got to admit, they've played a pretty mad game, right? From the very beginning, we saw them over towards that northwest side of the map, towards the bridge. They took control of it early. They did a lot of damage to these teams, and then they faded away when they realized they didn't have to do any more. It was already becoming a very chaotic area of the map up there. They've already lit the fires underneath those teams. You could just back off. Fleek takes a knock. Frozen's going to continue just moving around, looking for some more of these placement points. You can tell how important it is for this team as well. Currently in 11th place. They're in the danger zone. With 5 eliminations, this could be, you know, a pretty good match for them.
This could be huge. As long as you can find something to work with here. And for Mapples, we know that they're pretty effective at playing the late, slower, sluggish game where it comes down to being a bit of a solo Don. A man that's got to go full James Bond, creep around the corners, not get detected, play that stealthy shenanigans. Frozen's making a lot of noise about it, though. Parajin is aware. Obviously, it's just what is the risk versus reward, the trade versus possibility that you're going to guarantee another elimination versus you throwing your chance at a slightly higher placement away. Frozen parks the car and starts to close their gap a little bit. I mean, Mini 14 in his hands. Attention is turned towards A7. So a bit of a backstab spank could come out from Parajin if he's got the confidence for it. We'll see what his chops are looking like. Does swing the door open. Here you go. Straight in as Frozen shattered.
That'll do the trick. You know, don't come near my shed, man. I've got a lock on this bad boy for a reason. Really, really good play from ParaGin. Instantaneous peek. He waited for his moment there. You gotta love it. Now, Luxy and ParaGin both facing off right now for a third place. We're in the top 4. Still 4 teams remaining to head over towards stage 7 soon. Falcons all have to move down through the palm trees, but there's going to be no pina colada on the side with that. It's just pain as they try and push down here. Alpha 7, though, pretty dry on bullets, on utility. ParaGin out. Luxy scores himself a third place here, Jackie.
It's an ideal spot. At least being able to force your placements as high as possible. So for Evos, is that free? Got any chance of becoming a 2? Can he just wait it out long enough that you see the scrap between Alpha and Falcons? Third party off the back of it and look to try and steal away anything extra. You'd be frustrated if it happened to you, and they're going to have their wits about them because of it, not wanting that to be a possibility. He puts his belly on the ground, starts to take space inch by inch. Large width of map control taken though for either side. They've got their eyes everywhere, Blank. They're like the world tree. They know exactly what's going on all over the battleground right now. So pulling off a flank with a timing is going to be very unlikely for him.
15 eliminations this match for Falcons is absolutely ginormous for them. Going into tomorrow, we said that day 3 is a day of stress, right? But this is going to really alleviate it if they can finish it off with the chicken dinner. You know, you find Luxy, you find all 3 players coming through from A7. Well, I think Luxy's done now, but he does put up a fight a little bit. That's still going to be an 18 elimination game for Falcons. Absolutely gigantic in the grand scheme of things. That's a beautiful molly. The fadeaway as well. Dear me.
Bullets down range. A7 taking a bit of a hit. Falcons, can they swoop on this? Are they going to be able to secure the chicken dinner, pick it up, put it in the pocket? It's been a big game for them in terms of eliminations. They've been able to find so many.
Hello?
Up close, not ready for it, Blank. Delayed reactions as they bound out of the vehicle and overwhelming Falcons. They're inside the building with you. And one by one, they're starting to punish. Six, though, ignites himself running through the Molotov to try and force the issue on the 2-player peak, whittling the numbers down very quickly for A7. Trapped in the top of the building with the DBS. Downstairs, Mafioso with 2. That's turned the tide. Yo! The third as well. The triple threat is Mafioso. He's putting them all under. He's leaving them sleeping with the fishes right now as he wants to snatch away the win.
Gets through there, gonna pull out the first aid kit. This is absolutely insanity right now. Axa has a nade, looking to send it through, but Mafioso able to get off the first aid kit. Moves out the side. This will be an unbelievable performance coming through from A7, and it's Mafioso to bring it to a head here, Jackie.
Mafioso reset, rearmed and reloaded, looking to try and rumble once again. Another peek with the DBS, but this time not as clinical, not as clean. Finally falls. It was a heroic effort from him, but in the end, it's the Falcons that sought the victory as they grabbed the chicken dinner in the clutch.
The Seagulls coming down from Minas del Sur here, picking themselves up the chicken dinner, flying away with it, leaving